Leah McAdoo here with the News Blitz and a couple of stories that you might have missed. The New York Times is now advocating the stifling nature of snowflakes in their opinion pages. They say, what snowflakes get right about free speech? And then they go on to write an entire article about everything that's absolutely wrong and misunderstood about the First Amendment. So from the New York Times, we should thank the student protesters, the activists in Black Lives Matter, and other overly sensitive souls for keeping watch over the soul of our republic. They say that these demonstrations should be understood as an attempt to ensure the conditions of free speech for a greater group of people rather than censorship. So it's all about for the greater good, destroying the individual here. So moving closely and quickly to a totalitarian fascist state. So they say that liberal free speech advocates rush to point out that the views of these individuals must be heard first to be rejected. But this is not the case. They say you don't even need to hear anything you don't want to hear. You don't need to hear opinions that you disagree with. We're just going to reject you outright. They say when those views invalidate the humanity of some people, they restrict speech as a public good. Just for the greater good, we got to shut down any speech that we do not agree with. Again, they're trying to push this message that the First Amendment does not protect hate speech, but I'm sorry, folks. Yes, it does. This is the New York Times in 2017. They would like you to know that we shouldn't have free speech in the United States. So they go on to say the idea of freedom of speech does not mean a blanket permission to say anything that anybody thinks. Yes, it does. That's at the very core of the First Amendment. It's what makes this country so great. What many people die to get here because it's enshrined there in our First Amendment. So they say it means balancing the inherent value of a given view with the obligation to ensure that other members of a given community can participate in the discourse as fully recognized members of that community. No, it doesn't. So I guess this is the new sophisticated interpretation of the First Amendment that they're really trying to push. Sophisticated. So we have to now balance people's feelings with your right to free speech. So it does not mean that whatsoever. So then they go on to incorrectly say that free speech protections should not mean that someone's humanity or their right to participate in political speech as political agents can be freely attacked, demeaned, or questioned. So they're saying, basically they're saying that just because you say things that are inflammatory doesn't mean you should be protected from being attacked, being shut down, being questioned. That's absolutely what the First Amendment, we're supposed to have discussions about things that we disagree with, except for they are basically going out and doing the exact same thing that this argument makes. That is why UC Berkeley is now being sued over Ann Coulter's planned visit. The two student groups there that invited this conservative commentator to campus have now sued school officials, saying the school's decision to postpone her appearance violated their free speech rights. So there you go. We can go both ways. We can turn that thing around. And Judge Janine actually kind of gave it the very good takeaway here. She said that all of this social justice warrior business on campus, America is in trouble. They are trying to silence us, and that this is putting us on the course where we are in danger of becoming a fascist, totalitarian society where there is only one accepted point of view. No other will be tolerated, and it is time to fight back. And indeed, this is what we are seeing on college campuses, protests all across the country. People are indeed starting to say, you know what, you might call yourself anti-fascist, but you are directly guiding us toward a totalitarian fascist state where you try to shut down anybody's speech as long as it offends you. So then we're going to have to figure out who is going to then define what is hate speech. It's just interpreted whatever social justice warrior flavor of the day is, whatever offends me this afternoon, that is now hate speech. And also we're going to have to figure out who are these marginalized members of society, who are the historically oppressed, because all of this is changing. It's a changing dynamic. And just as we've been pointing out, the millennials are soon to be pushed out of this scope of propaganda in the colleges, and they're going to be replaced with the very much more conservative Generation Z. So it'll be interesting to see what type of censorship remains on campus once we have a new group of thinkers.
The reason InfoWars Life has 5-star ratings on major third-party sites is because I want products I'm going to use for my family. I take this, my family takes this, and then it funds the operation with the most hardcore, truthful information you're going to find anywhere. So what you find in our news is the same thing you find in our products at InfoWarsLife.com.
If I ever forget to take them, I have a noticeable difference. I don't feel good. The nascent iodine is one of the ones that was life-changing for me.
Yeah, I actually have just run out of my super female. I had a few bottles at my house, and I've been taking it again, hitting the gym once again. Very exciting, feeling great, looking good. So, and I know my hair is luxurious once again. So obviously the super female is amazing. I love it.
Nascent iodine is essential. Survival Shield X2. If there's one product that I would say is life-changing that I would suggest, it's Nascent iodine Survival Shield X2. It's got a 5-star rating.
It's a win-win. InfoWarsLife.com.